This is The Shed and this is Ask GMBN, where we're going to answer your questions sent in via social media or in the comment section below all our Ask GMBN videos.
So I'm going to kick it straight off with one from MTB Bear, Polar Vortex, and he says, what is adventure biking? I see some bikes deemed adventure bikes and just wondering what's different about them. And he's talking about the Rocky Mountain Sherpa.
Well, there's not a huge difference, but really, well, they tend to be fat bikes or plus bikes. You've got the bigger tyres, so you've got a bit of flotation that'll let you ride into less accessible places, so into the woods, over sand, and also carry loads of equipment. So a big bike like that's going to help you chuck your tent on there.
Do fat bikes float?
Fat bikes, I think they actually do. I've seen a picture of a fat bike floating.
Wow. And then Servius is asking, how hard / expensive is it to convert from 3x8 to 1x8?
Not necessarily expensive. You might want to put a different chainring on there, so a wide narrow chainring and possibly a chain device. One thing I would say is 1x8 isn't probably as useful as a 1x10, 1x11 or 1x12 because your ratio will be quite small. So that's going to be quite hard work, 1x8.
Yeah, I probably agree with that one. And then Radio Auckland is saying how to measure the travel of my fork. For example, he's got a Fox 34 and he's not sure if it's 140 or 150.
Well, they do tend to say on them, don't they? But you can let the air out, I guess, would probably be my other piece of advice. So let all the air out and just measure the difference on the stanchion from it fully extended to fully bottomed out with all the air out of it.
Using that little rubber O-ring that's commonly found on your stanchion.
Ah, yes, I'm full of that.
And then Lucas Felipe is saying, are manuals harder than wheelies to learn?
Probably they are, I would imagine. Wheelies, I guess they're slightly less risky because you've got the power. So if you feel like you're going too high up, you can back off the power and touch the back brake, and that's going to bring the front wheel down. Whereas with a manual, you've just used your weight to lift the front wheel, so you're just relying on the back brake to bring it back down. So slightly more dangerous manuals, I'd say. But
I probably think the wheelie is always the starting curve as well, because to get that balance point, it's a great way to find it, and you've got the pedals to actually actuate that movement and get you up.
I would say wheelie is probably one of the first tricks you should have a go at if you've not done either.
Definitely. And another manual question. This is from Lala1998, and he's saying, can you give me a good tip how to kill the fear from doing perfect manuals? I feel like a scaredy cat.
You've got to get used to pulling that back brake. From coaching, I've seen loads of people practicing manuals and looping out and landing on their bum, and it really does hurt. So once you've got the feel of that back brake and knowing how much and when to pull it, that will generally always save you.
And do you know what? I'm going to throw them straight to how to manual.
It's really important to use your weight to lift the front wheel and don't rely on pulling with your arms. Going from your ready position, middle of the bike, look at pumping directly down towards the seat, just so you're about to hit the seat, then roll back.
Okay, so the next question is all about mountain bike trends. It's from Joel Riendel, and he says, I've heard triple chainrings are dead, and he's asking, are 26-inch wheels dead too?
Triple chainrings pretty much are dead, I suppose. Dual is the biggest people go for, really. 26-inch wheels, almost, not quite. Dirt jump, slopestyle bikes are still 26-inch kids bikes.
And we were talking about this last week as well, weren't we? Yeah. For downhill bikes, it's still, I guess, you could say acceptable. The wheels are stronger, they're stiffer, but you've not got that rolling sort of overness. That's not even really a word, but you can roll over stuff a lot easier on a 27.5.
Yeah, you don't see many people making new 26-inch bikes, so they will be dead soon, I would imagine.
And Raventree is asking, this is a good one actually, how do air forks perform in below zero temperature?
Don't really know the answer to this, other than air gets denser the colder it gets, so that means your fork pressure will go up slightly, get harder.
And then talking about the compression circuit, the oil gets more viscous.
Less viscous.
Yeah, more viscous.
That'll be harder and slower.
Viscosity lesson for kids. So it's not going to flow quite as well, so you're going to find that the fork isn't so sort of sensitive in the start of the travel, and you might not get the same.
Yeah, it's true. All those things are true, but I'm not sure how much difference it will make to your fork. I don't think it'll make a massive difference.
What I have got to say is I was riding at the weekend, it was cold, it was snowing, it was wet, and it was probably 3 to 5 degrees, and the fork wasn't quite as nice as when it's nice, warm and sunny. But I mean, you could have both arguments.
GMBN does science.
MTB Saw 500, what tips on buying used bikes?
It depends on what sort of bike. A full suspension bike, things that are really important are pivots, because it's actually quite expensive to change all the bearings. The rest of the bearings, so your wheel bearings, check the wheels are straight.
You know what? We've got a full video on this, so let's just throw them straight to that.
But actually, a really good indicator of how well looked after that bike is just by checking how clean it is when you first show up. that might give you an idea about the sort of person that's had it before and if they look after their bike or not.
Don is asking about live Facebook and YouTube, and he's saying, can you do a live Ask GMBN streaming with us? Viewers with YouTube, it's possible now to do a stream live.
That's true. We do it on Facebook fairly regularly, where everyone leaves their comments, we try and answer them, but yeah, we should do it on YouTube as well. That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
Good. And he's got a whole pile of hashtags here. Ask GMBN. He's got please notice me GMBN, answer me GMBN, ask more GMBN, hang out with GMBN, ask boss GMBN, live GMBN. That's a lot of hashtags.
Yeah, good use of hashtags.
Cam Guitar is saying, I'd like to buy a new rear shock for Enduro. How do I measure my old shock so I know what size to buy?
Well, the easiest answer to that would be to not measure it. Go on the website to your bike manufacturer and work it out. Or if you want to get your measuring tape out, you want to measure the eye to eye length and also the stroke of the shock.
And then also the bushes.
And also the bushes.
And then Mongi Island, he's saying, why do many downhill riders have carbon frames? In such a sport as downhill where weight doesn't matter that much, don't they break easier when crashing?
Well, weight is still very important in downhill. All those riders are trying to get the lightest bike possible, so that's why they're using them. And carbon fibre is actually really strong in the right way. I know some manufacturers actually recommend them for heavier riders. So for riders over a certain kilogram, they'll say, right, buy the carbon frame, it's actually stronger than the aluminium one. Just impact damage is the only thing, but I've never damaged one like that.
Yeah, I've seen a few damaged, but you know what? They are generally known for being stiffer and stronger.
I've seen some good videos on Facebook of people hammering carbon frames and then being absolutely perfect.
I've seen one being absolutely rammed into a wall, trying to be smashed apart, and it survived. So there you go. YD Pitch is asking, hey guys, I'm 17 years old and I'm a cross-country rider. Should I do gym work or am I too young?
I have heard, I'm no expert on this, so don't take my word on this, but I have heard that you shouldn't do it below a certain age, but I would think 17 is probably okay. For cross country, you don't want to be massive though, so it depends how big you are already. You don't want to carry too much weight.
Yeah, no, definitely second that. And we've got some bodyweight exercises, which could be a great start for you to get into the gym, so check this video out. Now, you probably think that I'm looking a bit like a beach swell, and to be honest, I probably do, but this is a great exercise, especially for mountain biking. It's keeping everything balanced, so it's working on your lower back and also on your upper back. So we've got a few key coaching points for this one. Point 1 is body face down, arms out wide in a T position. Point 2 is that using your lower back, you want to lift your chest over the floor, keeping your eyes pointing down. Neil, you ready?
I'm ready.
Don't go anywhere, it's a quick fire round. So the first one is from Gage Hay, and he's saying, what stem length is best for enduro?
50mm or maybe, well, anywhere between 30 and 60. 50.
Mike Renfro is saying, am I the only one who doesn't know what a road gap is?
Road gap is a jump built over a road, generally quite easy to build because you might find there's a bank on one side of the road and another bank on the other, so you jump from the top to the bottom.
And Dingo Graphics is saying, when I'm braking and hear a liquid noise, how can I fix it?
A liquid noise? That must be hydraulic brakes, I would have thought, so I would bleed them.
New pads, new calipers.
It's a funny description, liquid noise. I'm not exactly sure on that one.
Nur Rahaman is saying, how much is the cap that you were wearing last week?
Oh, I don't know. Are they 15 quid?
£15, I think.
15 English pounds, posted worldwide.
Yeah, and then FXCK Racing is saying, when are the jerseys back in stock?
They are back for pre-order now, and we have XXL as well.
S all the way to XXL, and you can look as good as we do.
Time for the section of Ask called Correct Me If I'm Wrong, where we take a look at your videos you sent us to ask@gmbn.com.
And this first one is from, I'm going to call you Darius because I have no idea how to say your name. But anyway, he's asking a jumping question. And Neil, I've never seen a crash quite like this. Take a look at that.
So that was definitely wrong. Yeah, that wasn't how you're supposed to do it, I don't think. That was, I've never seen a crash like it. Looks like, well, he obviously gets bucked on the takeoff and comes off the pedals, but also off the side of the bike. So Darius, I would say don't lean back on the way in because you're so far back on the bike, and I'm thinking that's probably a full suspension bike. The rear end is compressing really hard and then the shock is flying up, and because you're so far back, it's happening really hard, and that's throwing you off the pedals and eventually over the bars.
I actually thought that when I first saw it, he was going for a no-footed can.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good if you got back on it, but unfortunately.
A banger of a crash, so that has got to go on fails and bails. Now this one is from Dragos, and he's riding this downhill section. Should we take a look?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Okay, he's coming in hot.
Oh, rapid. Nice.
He's asking for some technique tips, and I'm kind of like,
Well, I guess it's called Correct Me If I'm Wrong, but you're not. That looked pretty sweet to me, really fast. Nice. Send us a viewer edit in for the Dirt Shed show.
And you might just feature, you might.
Love it.
Can't guarantee it. Well, should we through to some more videos, I guess?
I think we probably should. I reckon you should click up there for our jumping playlist.
And if you click just here, you're going to get to the full how-to playlist where you can learn just about anything. And if you want to watch some more videos, click on that globe to subscribe, because you'll never miss one.
And it's absolutely free. Thumbs up if you like Ask GMBN.